Not going to see him here in these first couple of games, but of course we've still got one more after this, so who knows. LeBlanc also taking away a champion that Selfie really went towards in the first half of the year in the spring split, but also something that Kerp can definitely play. It's left Jax open, and SUPA HOT CREW take that first.
Instantly locking it in. Both junglers again, Lucian and Elise are open here, so SUPA HOT CREW, they don't lose anything by first picking the Jax. It could be the reason for Millenium to, if they wanted to, could have banned a jungler here. SUPA HOT CREW could first pick it, whoever was left, and therefore 2 picks now from Millenium. However, Jax was being locked in, and Braum also banned away by SUPA HOT CREW. Surprised me a little bit. I actually thought they would try and go for it.
Not today, apparently. On the other side, Lucian picked up for that man on your screen, Creaton, and also Elise in for Kottenx. Now, if you think back to the game against the Copenhagen Wolves, he was brilliant. Him and Svenskeren impressed us, I think, the most on Elise last week. Ended up 3-1-16 with Elise in that match against the Wolves. So we'll see if we can bring that kind of form to the table here today against the SUPA HOT CREW.
And it's a great thing about both picks from Millenium. You don't actually show anything. Lucian is considered the best early game jungler. Lucian is considered the best all-around AD carry. So you don't show your hand in any way, and you actually have 2 very safe picks which can perform for a long time.
Got Malzahar.
Yeah, no.
No, don't think that one is going to be coming out today, but will we see Karthus, of course, back in the new-looking Karthus? Some fantastic job that the guys are doing with that one. He's
makes him better.
Pretty fantastic. But in the end, they switch away. Taking Thresh here, we talked a lot about wewillfailer. Saw that video from him earlier on, and he has been very, very good with Thresh.
And it's a champion which teams keep giving to him. I mean, Millenium could have early picked it here, take it away from him, but no, give it all. He's played pretty much every game except for, I believe, 3 games in the last few weeks on this champion here. So for him, it's definitely a comfort pick. It's his #1 pick here, and SUPA HOT CREW can be very happy. Also, with Selfie on Kayle, we saw him against Fnatic last week, where he had the CS record for the summer split, and we know as long as he gets to the team fights, gets to the late game point, he can carry the team.
So for Millenium then, where do they go next? Knowing that Kayle is locked in, or will they go for something against it? Either way, they'll take Leona first of all for Jree in the bottom lane. Of course, we'll be paired up with Lucian, and Kevin also going back to his trusty Irelia.
So Kevin on Irelia here. Normally the matchup against Jax, straight up, no outplay, just perfect game for both champions. Jax will actually win the laning phase, but then lose out when it comes to team fights. However, there's so much room for outplay when it comes to this Irelia pick here from Kevin. If you dodge around the counter-strike and therefore land your stun onto Jax, land your true damage with Irelia, you can actually win the laning phase here. So we need to see how he wants to play it, or if we're just going to see the lane swap and both of them have to try and farm the jungle for as long as possible. And
both Irelia games have been really successful for him as well. The match against the Copenhagen Wolves plus the win against Gambit back in week 1 played the Irelia both of those times in the top lane, so we'll see if he can keep that record going. On the other side here, the SUPA HOT CREW onto their final 2 picks. Looking for a jungle, looking for an AD carry, and Twitch and Elise would fit that mold perfectly.
Yeah, again, they just saved the jungle pick because they knew it was going to be Elise. No reason to pick it early on here. Could get all the comfort picks they wanted. And now Twitch for MrRalleZ. So if you look just at the lineup itself from SUPA HOT CREW, you're really looking at late game fights here. Like Kayle, of course, scales so well. Jax, Twitch, all these 3 champions here will be so strong in late game team fights, or even split pushing. You can have Kayle in one lane, you can have Jax in a different lane, and then Twitch just sneaking around. We saw Reckless do it in the last game, finding picks everywhere. So SUPA HOT CREW have a very strong combo as long as they can make sure they don't fall too far behind early on, because the laning phase for them, depending on what Millenium will lock in for the mid lane here, could be a little bit risky.
And Jree doing his usual flashing through every champion under the sun. We'll see exactly which one he ends up going with here for Kerp in that mid lane up against Selfie's Kayle. Twisted Fate, of course, a champion that we've been seeing more and more of, always going to have an impact, and that will be locked in here. So Kerp going to play the Twisted Fate against Selfie's Kayle in the end.
And I really like the TF pick here because we see so many small fights in the games now, so Twisted Fate can always join in around the map. He has wave clear, of course, you do a lot of damage to towers, you can even split push yourself, you bring a lot of different things to the table here. And actually, going back to my point about SUPA HOT CREW in the early game, we actually just look at the matchups, the Jax versus Irelia. We just talked about how it's a skill matchup, but slightly in favor of Jax, so that should be no problem, or should go well for Mimer. In the mid lane, Selfie on Kayle, very strong laning champion as well. He will do well. And then because you have Thresh with the Twitch in the laning phase as well in the bottom lane, you can farm. It's very hard for Leona to actually get onto you before level 6 because of the flay from Thresh here to stop him going in. So SUPA HOT CREW scaling really well and also very good laning phase at least for them here. But of course the lineup from the side of Millenium can do a lot of picks here with both Twisted Fate, Leona and Elise catching out targets.
Well, guys, we have got the lineups in. So who do you think has the strongest? Tweet at LOL Esports, LOL Esports, of course, with hashtag SHCWin or hashtag MILWin. And we'll check in a little while just to see if these lineups that we've had picked out have swayed your votes any. And I want to, again, touch on Kerp because we said that his CSing is down there with the lowest. And the fact is that Twisted Fate actually fits into his style really, really well. He's a player that loves to roam. Once we get to level 6, Kerp's going to be in his element here with Twisted Fate.
100%, but it's high risk, high reward with Kerp because he wants to make all these plays here. If it goes wrong for him, if he dies early on, he falls very far behind and it's hard for him to come back.
Well, we are going to be getting into the game here shortly. The SUPA HOT CREW taking on Millenium. And of course, it's a big one here for both teams. As you mentioned, the SUPA HOT CREW trying to stay active at the top of the league somewhat, and Millenium looking to break away from the troublesome middle of the table area that they can't seem to break at the moment.
Millenium basically want to be more consistent in the play. Like this high reward, high risk, high reward, it's great when it works. But they actually need to move away from this part. I think Kerp needs to maybe look at his playstyle a little bit and see if he can play more safe. If he can find some other ideas or other champions than a Fizz, which he's pretty much the only guy, he's the only guy to play this champion in Europe at the moment. And sometimes it works, sometimes it simply goes completely wrong for him. And a champion like this could be a little bit risky. Maybe he wants to change it up if he wants to be more consistent.
And one man that we've not talked all that much about is actually Kottenx. We mentioned him briefly there as he locked in that Elise in, but he is a player that if he is on a good day, if Kottenx has a good day, Millenium generally do really well. But again, it falls down to this inconsistency.
Exactly. It's the same deal here. Kottenx, he's very good at ganking early on, and if he gets a few kills, the entire team get rolling. If not, it's hard for him to do anything. Well,
here we are then going into game. The SUPA HOT CREW taking on Millenium. Our second matchup here of the day. Into week 4 already of the LCS. Time flies when you're having fun, Deficio.
I agree with you, Joe. I agree. And looking just early level 1 items here. Nothing special actually from anyone. Both top laners with Thorn's Blade looking to be aggressive on towards each other. We need, of course, to see if we're going to have a lane swap here. And a lot of roaming with both AD carries just freezing the lane, each side of the map, and then a lot of action in the mid lane with everyone else.
Oh, that's a bit of a swing in the votes. Mid-60s it was before for the SUPA HOT CREW. Now 3/4 of you thinking that they are going to be able to win this game. And they're already showing a bit of aggression here, moving forward up towards the Millenium red buff. They were spotted out by that ward. Saw the ward go down, so they know that they've been spotted in that area. Will they stick around here for the red, or are they going to move in? There's an early ward just to see if the lane swap's going to come.
Simply to spot if Millenium recalls and then run from the base to the top lane with either the dual lane or Kevin to spot out what's going on here. So a lot actually, early wards from SUPA HOT CREW in the red side of Millenium to see, because they really want to make sure they can decide, do we want a lane swap or not here? Where do we see Millenium going? And for now, they're in the bottom lane.
Yep, Millenium headed down as Kevin and Mimer going to meet each other for the first time there. Mimer just pretty much face-checking into that brush. There is a ward there in the tri-bush as well, so Millenium will see that the SUPA HOT CREW are coming back into that red buff area, which means that will be secured here for both Mimer and Impaler. On the other side, unsurprisingly, Kottenx going to take the safe option of going for the enemy red.
Now, because SUPA HOT CREW were the team to start the lane swap, their top laner is already with the jungler, getting some XP in here, helping to do the red buff and can now jungle together. Where Kevin, you notice him on the top here, he's actually at the wolf camp now. He's been having to run the entire way down to get some of the CS and actually start later on getting some farm, getting some experience, so slightly behind. Very, very small amount because SUPA HOT CREW started the lane swap, so at least for them a small win here early on.
We see instant aggression coming out of Selfie, although he catches the wild cards and will end up being both of them around about half HP. We should also mention that Selfie going with cleanse for this game, so wanting to have the safe route out from those Twisted Fate gold cards.
Very smart. Also, if Kottenx want to be very aggressive around this mid lane here, you can just get to safety. You can also cleanse and then ult yourself afterwards, which is a very strong thing for Selfie here. So I like the cleanse pickup for him. And now SUPA HOT CREW actually moving towards this top side here. Just want to do golems and also stay around in case something should happen near this tower up top.
Well, they're pushing that tower. We'll see about that one right now. Pretty much frozen in the middle of the lane. Although, as I said, they start just hammering them down to push that pressure and lose the wave here. And 4 men up top, why not go for some damage onto that tower? Same can't be said for Millenium at this point, although they are headed south. Or are they going to visit this mid lane? Selfie, as I said, flash cleanse, he's gone, so he's got 2 outs from this one. Actually, will come around the corner, spots the both of them waiting off to the side, and Spidey senses from Selfie.
100%. A little bit lucky, maybe just wanted to move out to see if anything going on and just spotted 2 Mimer, so he didn't have to use any summons here. Smart play, we could also say, from Selfie, expecting the gank because nobody was top lane and nobody was bottom lane yet.
Working out really nicely, and that will be the first tower of the game going down shortly here in favor of the SUPA HOT CREW. Just want to let those minions go down so they don't push too far out. Meanwhile, Jax and Elise on the top side of the Millenium jungle. Millennium's jungler and top laner are actually moving into their own jungle at this point things, but on that bottom side.
It's basically both of them just farming away. Down his bottom lane here, Jree is actually decided to cancel his recall. Now he's gonna recall away once he hit the level 3 mark here, because Creaton can now freeze the lane. You see the big wave here is gonna push up towards him. He's just gonna stay here, keep killing a few minions and make sure the lane is frozen for as long as possible. Therefore Jree again decides to troll me and just cancel the recall. However, he's still staying far back, don't want to push the lane for now. So SUPA HOT CREW will take the top tower, can then recall if they want to and actually go down to this bottom lane, get some help from maybe the jungler, and then push the lane all the way out so Creaton won't be able to get all this farm.
And we'll see if Kevin actually heads up towards that top lane. He's just recalled. You can see that he is moving towards that top side of the map, although it's going to be pushing past the halfway point in his favor though, so good times for Kevin. He'll finally get himself some good time to be farming up, although Jax is also headed in there. Mimer coming up with the double Doran's Blade. Same on the other side for Kevin.
And a very, very big thing here for SUPA HOT CREW, they managed to bounce the wave on the tower up top before they killed it. So it's actually pushing towards them in the top lane. That's why Kevin won't be able to go up and freeze the lane by himself. He's going to just have to pick up a few CS and then let it all their minions move down to Mimer, who can then pick it up and therefore get a CS lead and a small experience lead as well.
So look at this Impaler coming around to that mid lane, or thinking about possibly coming to the mid lane. Sadly for him, we've already seen Kerp backing away to pick up his chalice. And in his opposite number, as we see an early dragon start here, Selfie starting off with those berserker groups. This is going to be a 4-man dragon attempt with MrRalleZ and Selfie now joining in. Going to be down to half HP before they really get a sniff of this one. There's the ward coming down. Jree and Creaton now moving in from the side. The dragon is very low. The teleport coming down as well. Dragon going very low, and it will be finished off in the end by the SUPA HOT CREW. But will they get out of the pit? Mimer now coming down. They flash away from the sun, but he jumps in. The hook not quite landing onto Jree, who is very, very low here. Kottenx goes in onto wewillfailer. Will kick him one final time to pick up first blood, but can they get any more? There's a leap strike over the wall onto an allied. And that will be the end of that one. SUPA HOT CREW get the dragon, but lose the first blood.
And wewillfailer, he was just stuck in the dragon pit. He already flashed, so couldn't get over the wall, and therefore Kottenx, once he actually arrived to the fight, went straight for him, picked up the kill here. But very aggressive move early on from SUPA HOT CREW. There was no pink ward for them, so they didn't know if there was any wards from Millenium. And at the same time, it just worked out for them because Kottenx was in this top side of the jungle farming away, because of course Kevin was in the top and had to teleport down before he could join in. So SUPA HOT CREW get the dragon. They lose the first blood, of course.
Here we go though, Destiny is going to be popped. MrRalleZ now in trouble. He's got nothing to escape with your flash and heal both down. And Kerp will pick up that one, and the first use of Destiny working out for Millenium.
Yeah, and a very, very nice start here for Kerp. We always talk about how he likes to roam. First one, success, picks up a kill. Good start for him. Mid lane as well won't even take too much damage because he can come in here and it's only one wave Selfie can actually hit the tower with.
Little start on the kills for Millenium, and that one actually putting them ahead now in gold. Impaler invading on the red buff. He took that at level 1 as well, don't forget. and looks like he won't be challenged for it a second time around. We'll see if Kottenx is able to get over and steal away that Super Hot Crew red buff, or whether he'll be limited on that front.
And Impaler now still around his red buff actually decides to move away. There was a big wave in the top side here if they wanted to try and pressure onto Kevin once he was going to farm the wave, but because Mimer of course is only level 5, it's a bit too early to just dive onto the enemy top laner. So safe, or wisely enough, doesn't want to go up here and punish Kevin when the big wave actually hits the tower.
Have a look down some of the CS here, because pretty close on all fronts except one. And Mimer gonna do a lot of damage here onto Kevin. Not got the ability just yet to actually kill him off, but the big difference, 53 to 35 CS between the AD carries. Of course, MrRalleZ went down after that twisted fake gank onto the bottom lane, but he's struggling right now.
Yeah, and it's the thing we saw earlier where Creaton was freezing the bot lane and just farming. And up in the top side, SUPA HOT CREW sent 4 members up to just hit the tower, get it very low, and SUPA HOT CREW took down the tower very early, so it didn't get the same amount of farm onto MrRalleZ. And then also with the dragon being started, as soon as he got to the bottom lane, they moved for dragon, so he didn't pick up any CS as well, and therefore he's now behind.
Ping's coming down onto Kottenx, so they know that he is in fact invading onto that red buff. See what he can actually get there. Thresh and Twitch both going to be around. There's a red buff spawning in. Will he be able to stick around for it? Jree clearing out the Tribush pink ward as well. And Kottenx is sticking around for this one, but will wewillfailer and MrRalleZ come in? wewillfailer does come around the corner. There's the smite though. Kottenx able to take that and hops over to the ward in the dragon pit as well. Nicely done.
Yeah, and now Mimer actually towards his mid lane here. Won't be able to do too much unless they want to dive. There's of course ulti onto Selfie here in case they go straight for Kerp, but now they're just hitting the tower.
Locked up under the tower there. While Selfie does have intervention to get away from it, as Millenium start to move a few men back to defend this mid lane, and SUPA HOT CREW decide to back away from that one, not wanting to maybe bite off a little bit more than they can chew at this stage. It's Kevin here, level 6 compared to Mimer's level 5. Although Impaler does give him the cover, so no real problems there for Mimer. He'll just go back all the way around the jungle and take another wave.
So with the golems and all the minions Kevin just picked up in his top lane here, he actually managed to get ahead of Mimer, but now you see him also hit the level 6 points. So both top laners very close in experience, and once Mimer actually picks up all the farm up here, should try and catch up a little bit into CS at least. Freezing it for now.
Waiting out on that one. And we'll continue to try and hold it on his side of the map so that Kevin's not getting all those freebies. 10 CS behind right now, so not really a big problem for him. The mid lane, Selfie's actually started to pull away, and we see now Kottenx coming up to the top.
A very smart move. Because Mimer is freezing the lane, they want to make sure Kevin can move up and now push it into the tower, reset the entire wave, and they don't want to risk a gank onto Kevin or something, so Kottenx just staying around here, making sure Kevin can do what he wants.
Cheeky little stun there on Mimer. Kottenx is going to start his recall. At least nowhere to be seen. Actually, on the bottom side of the map there was Impaler, and Kevin actually using his ultimate here to clear out that wave as quickly as he possibly can. Meanwhile, down in the bottom, which saw that twisted fake gank being the death of MrRalleZ earlier on, has remained a little quieter for now, but one thing that stayed the same, MrRalleZ is still behind.
Yeah. There's actually one thing I forgot to mention for the reason he was behind in CS. Of course, he died to the gank from Kerp here, setting him even further behind. So good job from Millenium so far. Trying to shut down MrRalleZ on this Twitch here, trying to delay his Blade of the Ruined King where he can start sneaking around and finding targets.
Kottenx now back onto the map. He's himself hit level 6, and Kerp is actually moving north as well, so we'll maybe expecting that dive onto Mimer. I'm not sure that it's actually going to happen. They pinged to say that Twisted Fate was actually missing, and they've got a cheeky little pink ward up by the red buff, so actually spotting Kottenx and Kerp moving towards that top side, and there's the Tribush ward as well that will see Kottenx even further moving towards that lane. He's just going to go try and get himself some jungle farm now.
Selfie moving in towards him though, he's level 9 now, Kerp in his bottom lane again!
Oh, they managed to lock up MrRalleZ for a second time. I can't see him escaping. He gets quite far behind. The Ignite is ticking away, and I think he will survive that one, but with very little health remaining. I think about 70 or 80 HP left at the end of that one, so nicely done to avoid it. We see the SUPA HOT CREW pushing that mid lane outer turret. They'll take that here, whilst Millenium are doing the dragon.
Yeah, so with MrRalleZ out of the picture here, Millenium know they can run towards the dragon. They knew the mid tower was already gone, because every time Kerp had moved away in the past, SUPA HOT CREW pushed it up, hit it a few times, so they knew it was going to go down. Therefore, they pick up a dragon, and both summoners gone for MrRalleZ.
which just opens him up for another Twitter fake gang as soon as Destiny comes back off cooldown. Although Kerp losing out on his tower, that may force him to be a little bit more careful as to where he goes on this next time around. Millenium, of course, still without a tower kill to their name. Not exactly been prioritizing that here, not being able to push any of these waves so heavily onto the turrets that they could get damage. One thing that they do finally get, though, is their own red buff back.
Yeah, first time they get it here. Twice before Impaler took it away from them. SUPA HOT CREW, though, pushing onto the spot tower. Creaton will join in with Jree, and there's a Bloodthirst onto Creaton now, so he's going to look to stack it up and then be very, very strong. So we could potentially see Jree trying to start a fight just with Creaton and go in for the kill.
As Selfie started to roam towards bottom, but found himself a pink ward there in the Death Brush, so knows that he'll have been spotted early enough. No real need to go any further on that. Meanwhile, this top lane still not evening out, although staying at the similar scenario that it was from before, with Kevin leading by about 10 CS, and actually lets that wave push all the way out until it meets his own wave, so that Mimer has to come further up that lane and puts himself in more danger, therefore.
Seeing as there's only one ward up in this top side for SUPA HOT CREW, Mimer won't be able to just push the wave out unless Impaler helps him. But Impaler's been staying around this mid lane a lot this game here, making sure Selfie got all the farm and making sure they could get some damage onto the mid tower every time the Kerp was gone. But now, wewillfailer taking some damage.
Oh, and in once again, and look at MrRalleZ going incredibly low. The ultimate came out early there from Creaton, and with the fact that they moved off to the side, he just cancelled that, knowing that it wasn't going to get any more hits on him. But we see that when you're ahead in that kind of lane matchup, Jree just dives in every possibility.
And when there's no summoners on the enemy AD carry, you're level above him, you have Bloodthirster, you didn't complete the blade yet, you're so much stronger, of course. Also Lucian, such a strong laning champion. Millenium just knew they could go straight for the fight here, and it worked for them.
Kerp's Destiny is available. Keep our eye on that, being pretty active and going down to that bottom lane both times, almost securing a kill the second time around as well. However, now SUPA HOT CREW moving to the top, moving towards that red buff that they had control of earlier on. This time we'll see that it's already gone from them, but they're going to come up towards that top lane. Kevin, already spotting that that was happening, has already backed away completely.
Yeah, they were trying to see if he was doing the golems again. He's been doing them throughout the entire game, actually. Every time he had the chance, take the golems, go back to your lane, get a bit more farm here. So they were just seeing if he was there, and also, of course, got to make sure they can now see the red buff next time it spawns on the minimap.
And there will be the first tower of the game as well for Millenium. Creaton just making sure that his entire wave was taken down before finishing off that turret. So that leaves Millenium in a solid position. About 2,000 gold ahead of the SUPA HOT CREW. Have both of the kills to their name, one with Twisted Fate, one with Elise in. So everything really going to plan for them up until now.
And SUPA HOT CREW, of course, just want to scale up into this late game point. But on the side of Millenium, they're not a bad team in the late game either. I mean, Irelia is a very strong team fighting Bruce in the late game. Twisted Fate, we know how strong he becomes with items. Lich Bane, Death Cap, DFG even, like, pretty much everything makes him so much stronger. He scales so well with the items into the late game. And Lucian, we always talk about how he's an all-around strong AD carry. So it's not like Millenium have a bad late game setup here, but SUPA HOT CREW for now basically just want to try and farm up as much as possible, get the right items on to MrRalleZ so he can start sneaking around. And of course, Selfie, to make sure he becomes very, very strong.
Oh, he's sneaking around, actually missing all the damage. He's going to get locked up here by the Solar Flare. Will get away with the Lantern, but not get away to safety. And now it's wewillfailer in trouble as a follow-through comes in. Intervention was used, but the stun card comes down. Millenium picking up 2 kills there in the mid lane. We didn't see in the top lane, but actually Impaler went and ganked there and got them a kill back. First of the game, in fact, for the SUPA HOT CREW.
Yeah, but weird decision from SUPA HOT CREW. After the blue buff, Selfie and Impaler moved towards the top side, while MrRalleZ was roaming in here into the mid lane, trying to set up a kill with no backup except for just wewillfailer. So as soon as Millenium saw it, and they knew there were multiple members already, could just turn it around, pick up the kill. You see actually up in the top lane here, Mimer taking the fight with Kevin because he knows Impaler is coming. Selfie already backed away. He moved up there at first, went back into the mid lane once MrRalleZ actually died, and they can just pick up the kill here. So Impaler getting a kill, at least, for the team.
Doing well there, Kevin, to stay alive as long as he did. Almost even escaping that one, but almost not good enough for him. That's the first kill, as I said, of the game for the Super Hot Crew. It's now problems down in the bottom lane once again. Destiny's going to come in. wewillfailer got nothing to work with here, and Kerp picks up his third kill of the match.
Just throwing back the lantern to MrRalleZ. Please die with me here. Of course, he didn't click it. They'd have this flash, therefore they could just go straight for wewillfailer and pick up another kill here. So Kerp on this Twisted Fate, we talk about high risk, high reward. It's definitely working for him now.
And he's not taking any risks with it.
No, this one has been safe.
They've made 3 versus 2 down in this bottom lane time and time again. As Selfie are going to chase onto Kottenx, but he can of course just get away onto that ward. They need some help here though in this mid lane, because Mimer has now joined in. Turret's going to go low. The kick comes back down. Mimer will get the intervention early on, but will it be enough to save him? Kottenx will follow through. Kevin chasing in as well, and actually Mimer had to use his flash to back away. Creaton coming around the back. Mimer sees it though thanks to that ward. And will they keep chasing him? Creaton's kind of alone there, and the lantern either way will bring Selfie back into his own jungle. Millenium not going to fight. They're actually stacking up around the dragon.
But we see it again here for Super Hot Crew. Every time Kerp ports away from the mid lane, they just push it up so fast. As many members as possible here. Dragon now is up. Millenium, they started. All 5 members here. Jax is in the base with teleport. He's coming in.
Oh, down to half HP. Jax is going to be on his way onto the top side. The ward that he put down just a few moments ago. Dragon falling low. He's taken by the Super Hot Crew. Nice by Impaler. But can they get out of the fight? Kevin's actually falling low. Will maybe go down from that one. He does fall in the end to Twitch. And there is Kerp at the back. He gets himself another one. There's still a lot of damage to be done here. Kerp trying to get forward as wewillfailer misses the hook. And Millenium, are they going to keep going? Jax down at less than half HP. The Q from Kottenx might get him. But in the end, Mimer just jumping away onto the minions. And now Millenium have 4 men to push this middle turret.
But if Super Hot Crew can defend the tower here, definitely a win for them with the dragon and trading 1-for-1. Selfie in this fight here before, he had 2 seconds on his ulti when he died. Unlucky for him, and Millenium respond, take down the tower here because they were healthier after the fight.
See Colin coming through to help push them away from it. Actually, pretty much the Spiderlings that tanked up all that damage. No, they weren't able to get any more kills, but as you said, the second turret of the game. Currently tied on that front, but Millenium holding a 3,000 gold lead. That was a great dragon steal though. Impaler coming in, managing to get that one, possibly keeps them in the game at this point.
Again, yeah, of course, if they've lost the dragon here, traded 1-for-1, but also lost the mid tower, it would have been a big win for Millenium. They pulled even further ahead, so everything counts now. We keep talking about how they just want to scale up now. We even just saw the team fights. They are not that far behind. Trading 1-for-1 without the ulti on Selfie. He died before he could actually use it because we're still on cooldown. So very close fights already for both teams.
Kevin moving out towards this bottom side. Selfie, could he fight him at this point? Got himself the bow in there on top of his Nash's tooth. So he's going to start to do a lot of damage very quickly. We all know how Kayle, with each additional item, just becomes more and more of a threat. Jax has got his Blade of the Ruin King now finished, as does Twitch as well. So a point hit in the game, and as you mentioned, that last fight around Dragon definitely wasn't a bad fight for the Super Hot Crew. They got themselves a Dragon, traded 1-for-1 with a team that's only going to be getting stronger.
Definitely a good point for them. Just need to make sure they don't let Kerp roam around too much. I mean, it's been an issue for them in this game here. Of course, it's very hard to stop a Twisted Fate from teleporting on your face. But it's been the issue because he's been the guy to set the ganks up, get the kills here, and therefore turn everything to the side of Millenium so they could pick up towers as well in this bottom lane and also get the gold lead.
See them being very careful on the bottom side. That turret low, and decided not to push in to finish it off in case anyone from Millenium just happened to be sat there waiting for them to really move in on things. Let's have a look down some of the items on Millenium's side. As I covered the Super Hot Crew earlier on, we can see that Irelia moving up towards that Trinity Force. Won't be too far away from completing that one. Kerp actually taking the Zhonya's Hourglass there after his Athenes.
So didn't want to go for straight death cap, rather felt that with the likes of Jax jumping onto him, with Twitch sneaking up onto you here, the Hourglass will do a lot more for him, and I can definitely see the idea. Just the armor itself is going to help a lot when MrRalleZ go for him. And ooh, ult missing from Jree here.
Not ideal, but those things can happen when you're trying to lock down Selfie, who just speeds himself up and is able to just dash away from any of that damage and from the lockup as well. However, the Super Hot Crew not phased, and why should they be? Solar Flare is now down. That gives him a little bit more freedom.
Bot lane. won't be able to help the team wave clear in this mid lane, but for now they're just moving around, going towards this top side, where Mimer has built up quite a wave. However, Millenium should be able to come up and actually defend it.
Will they though? They are to take the long route around, and Kevin actually using his ultimate to make sure that that wave doesn't get towards the tower and allow the Super Hot Crew any free damage. But it's definitely the Super Hot Crew at this point, at this very point in the game, that are dictating where the pressure is being put on, and Millenium just playing quite reactive to this, moving up to the top, coming back down to the mid laners, following Super Hot Crew's lead almost.
It's also because Millenium is just waiting for someone to overextend from Super Hot Crew so Kerp can teleport down towards them. That's why we saw Creaton in the bottom lane, we saw Kevin in the top lane, waiting for something to happen. If one person moves up and tries to one-on-one anyone from Millenium, Kerp is going to join in instantly and turn it around. So they were just waiting for a chance to make a play with Twisted Fate. But because Super Hot Crew were grouping together, except for of course Mimer in the top lane, which could easily go up and help, they couldn't actually make any plays and just waited out and saw, okay, they're pushing top, fine, easy, we just cleared a wave.
So, as we were talking about items before, Kevin has now got that Trinity Force done and has pulled ahead in CS. We mentioned earlier it was hovering around 10 for the first 18 minutes or so of the game. He's now started to pull a bit more of a lead out. 30 CS up. We'll actually have a good go at this top tower. In fact, may even be able to take it. There's no one from the Super Hot Crew there.
Teleport ready in a few seconds will be too late for Mimer, so Kevin here actually getting a tower for himself. Mimer might be able to do the same down bottom. Twisted Fate coming in.
Destiny going to be used. Who are they going for? MrRalleZ, who gets locked up. Solar Flare comes in with a Cologne, and just like that, everything being piled on top of the AD carry. Kevin even taking the turret, TPing down to bottom to stop Mimer taking that one.
And here again, we just saw the whole game plan for Millenium. As soon as they saw Selfie on the wards in the jungle around the blue buff of Super Hot Crew, teleport from Kerp. They knew, okay, Super Hot Crew, they're split up now, we can go in, win from MrRalleZ. The stealth does nothing because of Twisted Fate, locks him down with a stun, easy kill, and now pushing down towards this mid lane. So Millenium are just waiting and waiting for Super Hot Crew to make a move and then punish them.
A lot of poke coming in, but they still need to be careful of wewillfailer or Impaler even with his cocoon, locking one of them up to start things. The Hurricane is done for Selfie as well, so he's going to be a little bit more of a problem when it comes to these team fights, which up until now we've only seen one or two big ones. However, you have to feel that we're getting to that stage of the game as the Hawk comes in onto Kottenx. wewillfailer following through the boxes there. Leona may have to just back away from this one. Kottenx actually kicking them towards Jree, which is not ideal. The Hook will land onto Jree, and he will go down as well. And now they're going for Kevin. He gets locked up by Cocoon, flashes away to safety. And you have to feel that Kottenx maybe have killed Jree there with that kick.
Yeah, and also Millenium, they stayed around, didn't know if they could help or if they just had to back away and leave Kottenx to die by himself, but a very nice hook from wewillfailer, setting it up, going in, followed by Cocoon from Impaler, and Super Hot Crew just collapse onto Millenium. Pick up 2 kills and a mid tower here, so definitely responding and keeping it fairly even in gold.
And it's really going to be bringing it back. 2 kills, getting that inner tower.
Even better.
Get themselves a dragon as well. That's spawning in at the perfect time for the Super Hot Crew to finish this one off. And look at the gold jump here. Back to just 1,000 difference. Millenium still slightly ahead though.
One very nice hook from wewillfailer, and Millenium a bit out of position, and everything just turns back into even from Super Hot Crew. A very nice play. No teleport on Kevin, but Kerp can actually use his ulti down to this tower if he wants to try and save it. Seems though Mimer. Oh, he's going in for it.
Gonna go in.
Saves the tower.
Yeah, saves the tower at least for now, although those minions doing a lot of damage onto it. He's gonna have to quickly speed that one up, saves it with a slither of life still remaining on it. But Mimer, no risks really from that one. He could have probably stuck around and had it go onto the tower, but why risk giving Kerp a 5th kill? He's 4-0-3 again, coming up big for Millenium.
And we need to see team fights here from the side of Super Hot Crew, with of course the Hurricanes onto Kayle. Very, very strong team fighting build. We see it pretty much every time now. There's a Kayle pick and it always works really well. However, one of the weaknesses of the build is actually the fact that if there's a lot of stuns on the other side, because you're so auto-attack independent, you will lose a lot of damage compared to the burst, death cap, DFG or whatever Kayle we have seen beforehand, with just you focus on your Q damage and a few hits with a Lich Bane as the burst. You won't have the same thing here. You need time to stand there and hit. So if Millenium with Jree, with Kerp, locks him down, stuns him, he won't do a lot of damage.
Kerp actually running a elixir at this point as well, so definitely looking to get something going here on Millenium, as Mimer is finally going to get rid of that bottom turret that's been low for a long time by now. Feels like almost half of the game that turret has been within striking distance for the Super Hot Crew. Puts them ahead on the turret front, brings them to within 400 gold as well as the Zenith Blade not quite landed onto Impaler.
There's a good use of teleport advantage for Super Hot Crew. Kevin's teleport just got up now, and with, of course, the ulti being down from Kerp as well, they knew Mimer could just return to this bottom lane, take the tower by himself. He could always join in for a fight here. So smart map play from Super Hot Crew, making sure to get another tower.
Now we see the gold difference over time here. Super Hot Crew actually doing pretty damn well with this now. That swing coming their way. And actually they're catching out Jree inside of the jungle, who tries to go aggressive from his side. And we see that Selfie, we said it before that he's only going to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Now that needlessly large rod added in on top of his Nash's Tooth and the Hurricane as well.
Always very scary to deal with Kayle in late game, but of course we talked about just before, when you build this auto attack based build, stun the target, the damage is gone. It's pretty much like stunning an AD carry. Of course you won't be able to burst anyone, and therefore Millenium have tools to deal with him in team fights, but it's going to be very hard. And of course with a Jax as well, jumping around with a Twitch, with Rat-a-tat-tat in the backside, going crazy on your team. It's not exactly easy to pick the right target.
Oh, you'll see a Destiny. Where's he going to go? Actually underneath the turret onto MrRalleZ, who takes a lantern, but they're already on him. Zenith Blade comes in. wewillfailer locked up, flashes away. The Q lands out from Kottenx. Max range for him, and now Mimer might be in trouble. Gold card pulled there for Kerp. Can they finish him off? Again, Kottenx dives in for the triple. One more, it will do it!
Got it.
And Creaton gets it, and that's 4 men down here, and now they're on towards Selfie as well, who uses an intervention. Can he land the Q here?
Should survive.
He survives. No ace just yet, but that was fantastically played out on Millenium.
Yeah, and how do you deal with a strong team fighting combo or strong team fighting Kayle? You make sure when she's out of position, you just engage on the rest of the team here, and we just saw it again. Up in this top lane, Selfie is farming, Kevin in the bot lane, teleporting in. Again, it's Kerp setting it up. As soon as Super Hot Crew split up, he will join in. All down onto MrRalleZ, even though he takes lands and he flashes, still dies for it. And from here on, because Millenium are still so healthy, can just keep diving on. Witchstone onto Mimer here, keep going for it. Kottenx just staying behind the team, coming in, picks up another kill, and Selfie just joins in the very end. And by this time, there's no reason to join in, you're just gonna almost give up another kill.
Yeah, almost. The key word in that one. Only died once up until now, actually has finished off his Zhonya's Hourglass, so that will certainly help things out moving forward. But compare that to his opposite number, Lichbane done now for Kerp. We also see the Randuins coming out on the side of Millenium. One for Kottenx in the jungle, one for Kevin's top lane Irelia as well, on top of his Trinity Force. So that's going to make these team fights that bit harder for the Super Hot Crew. And honestly, MrRalleZ been a bit of a non-factor because Millenium have literally dove on him every single time. Every
time they have the chance, they use the ulti from Kerp, see where the rest of the members are, and just go straight for MrRalleZ, kill him instantly. He won't be able to do anything in the fights. And with this Randuin's Omen here for Kevin, we see he want to focus more on team fighting, and it's the style of Kevin. We talked about in the pregame how his CS numbers aren't always the best because he focused so much on running with the team and just fighting and not directly split pushing. This game, however, he's doing really well on farm.
Very solid, 238 CS. However, we see Selfie again up over 300 CS on that Kayle for him, something that he's done time and time again with these Kayle picks. Millenium here, though, are going to be looking for their 5th turret of the game, moving towards that inner turret in the bottom lane, and actually the entire team going to move across. There is the Destiny use. wewillfailer will be the target. Actually pulled the red card out there. It's not going to matter though, the slow is enough. Creaton will actually pick up that and get himself the killing spree. Once again,
Super Hot Crew is out of position and Millenium instantly just punish them, pick up another kill. It's been the story of the game here, and it's the reason they are ahead now, and Kerp is playing so well. They're going for Selfie now.
Straight onto him, actually came away as the intervention was used. Teleport will also be used by Jax to get into the fight, and Millenium baiting that one out perfectly. Kevin doesn't have his available just yet, so it's not like he's going to be running off on his own. Although, there we go, the deep push out. Kottenx kicks out Selfie. He uses his Zhonya's, but I think it's going to be too late for him. MrRalleZ, the second focus. Can they finish him off? Ulti running from Kevin. He gets the double. Impaler will repel. Actually takes a lantern back to the fountain. Well, that's 2 kills. The mid lane of the AD carry both down. This is looking good for Millenium.
Looking very good once again. They are simply so strong in these fights. They're always finding the right targets. This time was Kottenx actually going in. Selfie already used his ulti on the last engage. Just kick him back here. Waited for the Hourglass. Picked up a kill. Went further and took inhibitor as well now. So Millenium using the Baron really well.
So again. Kottenx getting straight in there. Selfie being locked up and almost was killed before he was able to use his own Zhonyas.
And from here on, as soon as he's dead, just chase on into the base. You don't really care about anything else but his damage at this point, because again, MrRalleZ has been shot down so hard. And Millenium, we can simply just praise them for the way they're playing the map here and the way they punish SUPA HOT CREW for being out of position every time.
And there's a ton of gold across the board here for Millenium. We see them pretty much all recalling as Mimer and Impaler trying to set up a bit of a trap inside of that Millenium jungle, but doesn't seem like Millenium are going to be falling too much for that one. Not really moving down towards that area, although Creaton is going to move through. They're going to spot him with the ward. Can they lock him up? There's a cocoon landing. Creaton's dead. No way he's getting away from this one. Almost caught it a little bit too early there. Selfie now being caught out as well. He's used an early intervention. There's a lantern down. Kevin was flanking from the bottom side. Not enough in the end, though, to lock up another kill.
So SUPA HOT CREW very patient here. We're just waiting for Creaton to move towards the red buff. Thought he could just pick it up by himself. So get the kill now and push up towards this mid lane.
Are they going to be able to defend this one? A little bit split here on Millenium, and those turrets going to be melted extremely quick with Jax there, with Twitch now joining the party as well. Do Millenium want to fight? It's 5v4, of course. There's a hook on towards Jree, cocoon, Flay. Lots going towards Jree, but not the target they were looking for. And then we see them powering on out of there. No more fights wanted from the SUPA HOT CREW side.
Yeah, they need to back away the bot lane as well as pushing heavily towards the Nexus. So Millenium chasing up here. Creaton all the way coming all the way from the base. SUPA HOT CREW, they're looking for a fight.
Oh, flash cocoon. It's been sidestepped there, and now they're going to turn it around. Mimer going to get stocked up as Kevin there. The back has gone a little bit too deep, you feel. Will be finished off by MrRalleZ. Mimer will use the intervention on himself. Creaton now finally gets involved. Who are they going to go for? Jree's dove right into them again as the Cullen going to come flying out. Have they got the damage? Selfie's going to take the Zhonyas, but the Nexus turrets are already being pushed down here. Those super minions destroying the SUPA HOT CREW base. Will they be able to get back? Twisted Fate is going to ultimate. Comes in at the side though, didn't have the range to go all the way through into the base, but he may be able to hold them off long enough. I don't think so. The super minions now bashed away by Mimer.
So even though Millenium lost Kevin in this fight here, they managed to stay alive with the rest of the members and wait for their super minions in this bottom lane to do all the work. There was no teleport on Mimer, so he had to run with the team. Couldn't be in this bot lane here to push it out. It was actually the reason SUPA HOT CREW backed away from the mid lane in the first time, but then Millenium just chased him because they knew the super minions in this bottom lane here could do all the work, and it worked for them. They just simply had to sacrifice Kevin. Worth it.
Worth it, yeah. I think Kevin will have no problem with going down for that one. They managed to take down both Nexus turrets. A bit of a hole now in the SUPA HOT CREW base, that's for sure. As they pushed up this bottom wave, they need to keep it further up that lane though.
Yeah, you're against a Twisted Fate with Lich Bane, doing a lot of damage to your Nexus. In case a fight should happen and Kerp is like, nope, not gonna join in, just gonna go straight for your base and just backdoor you and win the game. So very scary stuff here for SUPA HOT CREW without the Nexus turrets.
Actually moving in towards the Baron area, which they've got pretty much entire control of. We just heard there that the inhibitor will be coming up once again in just a couple of moments for the SUPA HOT CREW. That'll be a brief respite for him. Stop those super minions coming down. We can see that Mimer has actually pushed that wave all the way up to the river, so wants to keep them as far away as possible from the base. They are, however, possibly going to lose an inner turret here in this top lane.
Defending it for now here with the little amount or low amount of weight that they have, or of course with Selfie, as long as he gets to the minions he can do a lot, but it's a bit scary for him as long as Millenium is staying around. That's why we saw before he just had to wait back a little bit, let Millenium hit, but once he gets to the minions, of course he will just destroy them with the Hurricane pretty much instantly.
Kerp started to recall there. They actually do need to recall because we can see that Mimer already onto that inner turret. Does finally stop a Millenium not sent. Oh, I tell a lie, Kevin did recall in that, so that actually leaves them at 5 versus 4 here for Baron. However, both top laners do have teleport. We are going to see them both coming in. Jree going in at the back there with the Solar Flare. There's the Twisted Fate ultimate coming out, and he's actually going to be left at the back on his own. Pops himself the Zhonyas. Can they get in there to defend him? MrRalleZ gets the intervention on him. That's a lot more damage, but the SUPA HOT CREW being picked off one by one here. Impaler will be the next one. He will go down after his repel sends him right back on top of the team.
They can finish.
Triple kill for Creaton, and surely, indeed, they can finish this one now. They need to kill the Indian first, though.
But such a weird fight from Super Hot Crew. They start the Baron, even though Kevin had teleport, could just instantly join in with the rest of the team, and then just ran in different positions. Now going for Selfie.
Oh, that Zhonya's may just cost him his life here. I thought if he'd have just walked away from it, Kevin might not have been able to finish him off. It doesn't matter. Zhonya's is going to be the death of him. The inhibitor is going to go down. A Millenium with just wewillfailer to really protect the Super Hot Crew base. They're going to walk straight through, take down the Nexus, and pick up a valuable win here against the Super Hot Crew.
Every single ulti from Kerp in this game here gave kills over to Millenium, gave him objectives, gave map pressure. He was so strong in the early game, in the mid game, and every time Super Hot Crew out of position, well, Kerp was like, I'm just going to ult with the rest of my team, go in, kill MrRalleZ, make sure we win the team fights, and therefore also win the game.
And the questions that we had before, we talked about Millenium being a very solid mid-table team, and that they had to kind of prove, I think, to themselves more than anyone else, of course, that they could beat teams like the Super Hot Crew themselves. They're having a great run up at the top of the table, and they did it in an impressive way here. 19 kills to 8 by the end of it. And really the lead that they built up early on, even though we were expecting this power spike out of the Super Hot Crew, we were expecting them to get stronger and stronger and stronger, the lead that they had carried them through the entire game.
And also the fact they delayed the power spikes for such a long time because they kept making plays on the map. Every time Super Hot Crew went to farm a lane, to, again, just straight single farm a lane. Normally you would like, yeah, it's fine, I can just take this farm here. But every time Super Hot Crew went for the farm, Millenium would punish them somewhere else on the map. And that's full credit to them playing the comp really well and also have some very strong team fights overall.
But Millenium need to do this more often. They need to show to themselves, as I said before, that they can win 2 games in a row. I mean, if you look back to week 1, everyone was like, wow, Millenium this season looking incredibly good. Only lost 1 game out of the first 4 in Super Week. Since then, it's been inconsistent. Again, the word of the day almost, up and down for them completely. But this win against the Super Hot Crew, definitely a vital confidence booster, if nothing else.
Especially